Alright, the time has come to start getting on my arena build video. Oh, hang on, I'm not showing the quick screen. So, again, we're using our New World fans. Now, this build is much different than the War and Outpost Rush build. And the reason for that is, Arenas is an entirely different PvP mode where it has entirely different concepts. It's 3v3, it's in a less than 50 meter sized arena. So there's a lot of changes to our gear. And the first sort of major differences, we're not running thrust protection in our gear, and this is because, well, yeah, you still might verse muskets in arena, you're also going to be versing a lot of melee and mages, and we're going to get into why I'm running full onyx and no gems to protect against mages in a second, and it's mainly because of this guy here. But basically, on with the gear is the concept is we're going to be dropping elemental aversion for shirking fortification. And we're going to be dropping refreshing from our Outpost Rush War build for freedom. Now, freedom is a massive perk in arenas. It is the ultimate. It is what you want. Now, the thing that is important to note here is that 3 freedom won't make a difference. 4 freedom, you will start to notice a difference. 5 freedom. We have 5 freedom in this build. We have 5 resilient, 5 freedom, 4 shirking, 4. Now, we are dropping and powering shooter stance because we are dropping shooter stance in general, and I'll get to that later in the video. But for our hat, we are running resilient, freedom, shirking, fortification. For our chest, we are running freedom, resilient, shirking, fort, same as. And now for our hands, we're dropping the shirking, fortification for crippling powder burn, and then we're running resilient and freedom. For our pants, we're running resilient, freedom, and shirking, fortification. And then for our boots, we're running resilient, freedom, and shirking, fortification as well. Now, the important thing to note is, again, we only have crippling powder burn as a weapon perk. There's the only weapon perk we need. We have 4 shirking fort and we have 5 freedom. It's going to make a huge difference. You're going to be very quick in arenas, and yeah. Now for the weapons, you might notice something different from our War OPR build is we are actually running a rune glass in our weapon. Now, this isn't very ethical unless you have 2 keenly jagged muskets, but there's something else important to note here. The reason we're running it is, again, because we're not actually using mortal empowerment in arenas. Even though it does stack and it is good, there's actually a far better perk, and we're going to get onto that in a second here. The Boreal Rune Glass, since we're not getting stacks, we don't need to worry about our stacks getting stolen, which actually makes the Rune Glass better for damage output. So that's why we have our Rune Glass on our musket. We also have our Rune Glass on our rapier. Now, our musket is the classic keenly jagged enchanted Boreal achievement. Now, there's actually another option you can go to for your musket. Now, instead of keenly jagged, you can actually run a support build in arenas that will make a huge difference in people catching you, especially melee builds in particular. Crippling powder burn musket, which I actually want to show you guys, is I actually have this musket on my main. Now, the main reason why I want to show this is because I actually think this is what I'm going to be running in arenas, especially when leaderboards come out, is I think this is going to be better than keenly jagged. Although keenly jagged is nice, I think that crippling powder burn is going to be a tad better. Yeah, so I already have it slotted with a rune glass and everything, so I have Abyssal Attunement, crippling powder burn, and enchanted. This is sort of like your support arenas musket, and then your main one would be your where is it? Oh man, I have so many muskets. Yeah, your keenly jagged flame achievement enchanted, or any achievement. Rapier is the same as the War and Outpost Rush guide. It is the Rogue Sundering Repost Boreal achievement. Again, any achievement, this depends on your whatever achievement you have on your musket is whatever achievement onyx you're going to be using in your gear. I've got to mention that we're using a Boreal onyxes. Again, whatever onyx you have is relative to your achievements. So if you have flame achievement, you're going to use ignited ruby, and you're going to use ignited physical ward in your armor. If we're using stone form again, greater heart rune or mending stone form, you can use either 2. Not really sure about the detonate stone form. I've never used it before, but it might be right too. And now for the amulet, we're using thrust protection, health, stem recovery, classic. We're getting that thrust protection, which will help if we actually do end up versing muskets and bows. And we are obviously, I think we get, I'm not sure, I don't actually have a kit ready on my main, that's why I'm using the site builder. Now for the ring, we're using the Champion's Ring. I had to build it because this site doesn't actually have the name drop on it, but Champion's Ring is the ring you want to use in arenas. Keen Awareness, Hardy, Invigorated Punishment. You know, Invigorated Punishment is all around an amazing perk, especially for melee mages, and same goes for musket when it comes to arenas, where you're not going to be proccing those stacks and you're going to be dying a lot more. For earring, we're running the Regenerating Refreshing Toast, Purifying Toast, which is just all-round amazing. Again, that Purifying Toast is huge. That Passive Regenerating, and that's sort of the main thing to the build. And when you do come up against mages, your best friend is going to be powerful Gemstone Dust. Just buy one, because arena consumables are unlimited. Alright, so the musketry is going to be looking a little bit different than the War OPR, and we're actually swapping out Sticky Bomb for Power Shot. Since you can actually reload them while moving now, it actually adds much, it's much better is what I'm trying to say. If you initiate with the powder burn and then you do it with power shot, it does a lot of damage because you get the backdraft and then you're applying a power shot, which is 150% weapon damage. You gain a 10% power after connecting the shot, so it's a huge benefit. You're still running shoot stance because it still does have some uses. You're still running sniper, even though you may not zoom, it grants 15% headshot damage, which is very important. This is the rapier tree right here. Flourish and finish, repost, and fletch. Now you can get some great combos in. My favorite one is going repost. So you inflict them with the sundering, you go into a fletch, backstab, and then you hit them with the flourish and finish. You get 20 stem back, deals a lot of damage, and that's basically the build. I hope you enjoyed. And again, this is the ultimate BIS arena kit, so you're not going to be getting this for a long time. It's something to work towards. I do think arenas are actually in a better spot than OPR right now. We all know why, balance reasons. I think arenas come, the leaderboards could be the main mode as well. So anyways, enjoy this guide, and I'll see you guys in the next one.